Okay, I am live everywhere. We're up and running, and I'm gonna dive right in. Save. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, comments are gonna come in. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am so excited to hang out with you guys. This is also, I want to say, my first live ever. I think I went live. I have a little group chat on my Instagram, what's called the Street Smart Squad, but it's like a literally like a texting group. So I've gone live once there a few weeks ago, and this is literally my first time live with you guys. So this is really exciting. And we are here to talk about Street Smarts, which is literally going to be out in the world in less than 3 weeks, which is like honestly the craziest thing in the world. I could not be more excited. I'm feeling all the emotions. It's like a little nerve wracking as well, just because this has been over 2 years in the making, but really over, I mean, really 4 years in the making, because when I was a very, very little girl, I don't know if you guys know this right now or have heard this before. My mom's on here. Hi, mom. I think my dad is too. I wanted to write a book since I was little. So this is really like a full circle moment and just a dream come true. And to be doing it in the way that this happened just could not be more special. And the way that this all came to be just happened organically and naturally. And I'm just very grateful and very happy that you guys are here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. It truly means everything to me. And I could not be more excited to get this book in your hands and soon enough. Okay, there's going to be questions coming through and I'm going to get to them. Let's see. Someone said, "Hi, mom, you did a great job." So, mom, if you are still listening, that's directed toward you guys. Okay, I am going to do something that I've never shared before. And I think that this is kind of cool because I don't know if many of you really understand what is inside this book. Everything's broken down by chapters. And I'm just going to lay it all out there and I'm going to read the chapters so you guys know what you're going to be, what you're getting. So let's dive right in. I'm also going to read some stuff from this book. Okay. So first you're going to get the introduction, why me, why you need this book, just a little bit of background. Then chapter 1, trust your gut, intuition, and the psychology of survival. This is where I like nerd out and I think you guys are going to love it because this really lays the foundation for the rest of the book. Chapter 2, lie to survive. If you followed me for a while, you know exactly what that means. How minor mistruths can help keep you safe. Chapter 3, buckle up, your guide to safe driving. Chapter 4, swipe smart, the new rules of dating safely. Chapter 5, squad safety, going out while staying safe. Chapter 6, workplace well being, surviving in your office. There's also a little thing in there for babysitters. I just was trying to make this book for everyone. Okay, chapter 7, flying solo, how to rock living on your own. Chapter 8, adventures in traveling alone, how to jet set safely. Chapter 9, campus chronicles, navigating college life. Chapter 10, stay cyber smart, protecting yourself in the digital jungle. And chapter 11 was by far the hardest chapter to write. Took me such a long time. It was very emotional and I think it's needed. It's mass violence, what to do when the unthinkable happens. And I wrote it with great responsibility and care for many reasons. And it's just a sensitive topic, especially in the United States. But the information inside this book is meant to save lives, is meant to prevent tragedies, is, meant to prevent families from going through horrific events. And that's why I did this in the beginning. I said to my family, if I could just save one life or make one person aware and have them make a decision or not make a decision that will get them home safely at the end of the night, it's all worth it to me. And when I started this, honestly, I would have never in a million years had any idea that I would be sitting here. I could kind of talk about that. Let's see if there's any questions that came in that I want to touch on first. Hold on, I could filter these to just questions. How did you become the street smarts person? That's a good question. I won't get into my whole spiel. I actually do share a little bit about that in my book. Maybe I'll read this first because I share a story in my book. I'm not going to, I'll just get into it and share a little bit about it. But um, many things in my life shaped who I am today. And this was one of them that happened at a very early age. So, you know what? Let's just get right into it. We're just going to read. All right, let me see. I honest to God, like holding this, by the way, I just got this book for the first time. Am I holding it in screen? A couple days ago, and unboxing it and seeing it for the first time was so surreal. Like I said, this specific book was, over 2 years in the making. So then to hold something that you created is just crazy. Okay. Let's just read some of the introduction. So, ever since I was a child, I had an extreme sense of awareness of the intricacies of the world around me. Though my devoted parents helped nurture my sense of street smarts, it also seemed somewhat innate. I had a natural ability to discern both safe and not so safe situations as they arose, and I sensed what I could do to protect myself when difficult predicaments popped up. This heightened sense of my surroundings and the instinct for what needed to be done to navigate the world safely as a girl carried me through many tough moments as I grew up. One of the hardest came when I was around 10 years old on a beautiful spring afternoon that forever changed my sense of safety in the world. It was a Friday, my favorite day of the week, and I was about to walk home from school with a group of friends for the very first time after days of begging my mom for this bit of freedom. But as the school bell rang, a wave of anxiety washed over me. Our group had shrunk from 8 to just 3. I had no means of contacting my parents. Kids didn't have cell phones then. And I grew more and more anxious as we walked. My nervousness spiraled into flat out fear when I noticed a suspicious van creeping behind us. I suggested we change our route, but the van kept following our every move. When my friends left for their houses, I found myself alone and my sense of danger intensified. The van suddenly sped up and a man opened the passenger door. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that because I want you guys to read this book. Honestly, it's so powerful and it's so much bigger than me. It's cool because you understand kind of where kind of this came from and how this happened, but more than anything, what's inside this book is life-saving information that I want in as many hands as possible. And this community has allowed me to reach people that I would have never been able to reach. And your support is why I have this platform. So I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I just want to take a moment to just truly thank you from the bottom of my heart because I love what I do. And it could not be more rewarding, honestly. And it's just it's so me to my core. All right, let's see. I am going to read another thing from the book. Let's see what some questions are. Oh my god, there's a lot of questions. These are all filtering in from like all different platforms. Let's see. Someone said hi from Port Orange, Florida. Lynn, I think is your name. Hello. Someone said, why did you want to do a whole book? That's a good question. And honestly, so the book is kind of like my most viral content, and it gives me the ability to give you guys way more of a deep dive than I would ever be able to do through my videos online that are kind of short format, quick pace and easily digestible there, which this book is very easily digestible, but it's so much more. And actually, fun fact, this book was going to be titled Street Smarts University. And the reason that I wanted it to be called Street Smarts University was because after you read this book, you will have a degree in street smarts. And I thought that was really fun and really like kind of playful. But then as we got closer and, we started working out the details more and more, I didn't want it to appear that appear only for like college students or like what is Street Smarts University. I didn't want it to be confusing at all. So we dropped university and just stuck with street smarts to make it super simple and what it is. So it's pretty cool. And every single like word, every detail, the trust your instincts, outsmart danger, and stay safe in a world that isn't. I mean, my team, we work through this. I am very A-type and I was very particular about everything that was put into this book. And just again, to hold it for the first time could not be more amazing. Okay, I keep talking. Let's see. What inspired me to write Street Smarts? I mean, I always wanted to. Oh my God. Sorry. Before we do that, I'll answer this question first and then I'll get to this because I don't want to forget saying this. But what inspired me to write this book is because I figured it was a way to reach even more people and get life saving information in more hands. Um, and it's just a really cool thing. A lot of people love books, love to read books. This is something that honestly is like generational, because once you learn what's in this book, it's going to stay with you and it's going to spark conversations with your friends, with your kids. And the lessons that I've learned that I share in this book are lessons that you'll be able to pass down for generations and generations. And what's crazy is that ripple effect you don't understand and we don't know. And, the good thing is sometimes we might never know what that could change. It could genuinely change the trajectory of somebody's life, which is wild to think about. Wild to think about. Okay, sorry. Now we get back to this really quick. Okay, so if you are watching on TalkShop Live, click the shop button, and that will allow you to get an autographed copy of Street Smarts. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop for links to order. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. I hope that helps. If you guys have questions, feel free to send them through. Oh my goodness, there are so many questions. Okay. Let's see. What was the most challenging part of writing this book? That's a great question. Wanting it to come through as authentic as possible, and also walking the line of staying true to my motto of live aware, not in fear, because this book is meant to empower you to go out in the world and live your life and truly embody the live aware, not in fear. And there's this big misconception that the world is an evil place, and it is. Don't get me wrong, but the world is mostly good. I want you to know that, and that's what I truly believe. But with that said, it's still very important to be aware and understand and know that evil walks among us. And I always say, a lot of the times certain crime happens when evil meets opportunity. And that's why I've said so many times at the end of the day that you just don't know who you might cross paths with. So the knowledge in this book and just living life with that level of awareness can keep you safe. It's really a cool thing once you lean in and trust yourself and listen to the voice in the back of your head and the feeling in your belly. It's trusting yourself and your intuition is the most important thing you can do. And your intuition, we all are born with it. And I've had so many women be like my gut feeling has never led me in the wrong direction, and I fully understand and can empathize. But other women have said, I don't have a strong intuition. And the beautiful thing about that is that you can build that. Your intuition is like a muscle, and the more you work it out, the better it gets. And the more you enable it, the more you listen to it, the stronger it'll get. So that's why when you're out and about and you have those gut feelings about certain things, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be danger related. It could just be like something fell off about that person. I don't really like want to hang out with them again. And maybe they just weren't going to be a good friend. You know what I mean? It's your intuition will play into every aspect of your life if you let it. And it's a very, very powerful tool. All right, let's see. Did writing this book change how you personally navigate the world? That's a good question. And no, because this has been how I've navigated the world since I was a little girl. I will say it was cool to pour all of the knowledge that has come from my degree, from my own life experience, from the professors that I was lucky enough to cross paths with. One of my professors who became a mentor, I'm going to try not to get emotional about this. Many of you know about Chuck. Chuck is somebody that is very, very special to me, who was my professor turned mentor, who became family. He was at my wedding. I unexpectedly lost Chuck at the tail end of COVID. And it was one of the catalysts that drove me to do what I'm doing now. So I have Chuck to thank for so much in my life, but my book is dedicated to Chuck. And I posted a video reading the dedication, which was very special. But I know he would be so incredibly proud, and it's bittersweet because in moments like this, and to be doing what I'm doing now, and not having gone into the field that I wanted to go into, which was being a federal agent. I wanted to go to Quantico. That's why I studied criminology and psychology. I had my sights set on Quantico, and I talk about it in this book too. I share that story and why I ultimately did not go to Quantico. And Chuck had a lot to do with that. Actually, Chuck really was the main reason, and he didn't discourage me by any means. But we had a conversation that that changed the trajectory of my life then. And I felt like everything happened for a reason, and now I'm sitting and doing what I'm doing for so many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is him, and I will always hold him near and dear. And this is a way to keep his memory alive and have him live on forever, because a lot of this information is from Chuck. So it's incredibly special and meaningful for so many reasons. Okay. Mrs. Chatty Cathy tonight. All right, let's see. Is there a topic you'd wish you'd explore more deeply that might be in a future project? Hmm. Yes, absolutely. I plan on many future projects, and that's a great question. Honestly, 2026 is going to be a big year, and there's a lot of other categories that are really important as well, like parenting. And short answer to your question is yes, absolutely. And there will be many future projects to come. Okay. Hmm. What's been the most surprising reaction or feedback you've received so far? So this is actually really cool. We sent a lot of books out. So many people won books and giveaways. I actually, by the way, have giveaways coming up. This leading up to pub. I'm doing one tomorrow, and then there's going to be two more right before pub. But I had a retired police officer that was a man. He wrote in. He wrote me a beautiful email, and he told me that he had a very decorated career. And he said after reading the book that there were things in there that he never thought of. And coming from somebody that was former law enforcement, that just truly was amazing to hear, because it made me feel as though, wow, this book really is going to make a big impact for the people that read it. And having somebody say that, like I said, had that decorated career, just it was pretty damn cool. Okay, let's see. How long did it take you to complete the book? Hmm, over 2 years. Over 2 years. It's it was a process, let me tell you, like a very cool process. And I mean, my literary agent can attest to this, and my book team can attest to this. I'm probably like their most excited author ever, because every single day was something new, and I learned something new about the process of writing a book. And I had no idea what would go into writing a book, and it was all worth it. It was all worth it. It was so much work, but when I tell you I poured my heart and soul into this, I truly did, and I'm very proud of it. And I can't believe it's going to be on bookshelves February 3rd. I mean, that is just crazy. And also remember, guys, this is the only place right now that you could buy autographed copies. So I know I've got a ton of messages asking like, how do I have how do I get a signed copy or autographed copy? And it's right here, right now. And I know there's also like a limited amount, and they will sell out. So if you are interested, I do not want you to miss the opportunity. So please take advantage while this is live. All right, let's see. What other so many questions. This is so cool. I kind of want to read a real world story. So, something really cool, and I'm just looking through this, but I'll get into some more questions. Something really cool that I did with this book, and I'm sure many of you remember this, is that I posted a story, and I asked if you guys wanted to participate in a project. And in order to do so, I wanted you to share a real world story, real world safety story with me, something that had happened to you in your lifetime. And that happened. And actually, there were hundreds of emails that came through, and it was very, very cool. And they're in this book. So you guys also contributed, which is very special. And I'm going to read you one. Let's see. It's pretty powerful. Okay. Ahem. So I will say who this is from. Let's see. This is a real world safety story from Jenny. Okay. It was a sweltering afternoon in the early 1980s, and I was leaving a shop in a strip mall in Fort Myers when I noticed a man striding toward me across the parking lot. Something about him set off alarm bells in my head. He had a professional looking camera slung around his neck, and as he got closer, he smiled and said, "I'd love for you to model for me." Every instinct in my body screamed, "Nope." His tone was too eager, his eyes too intense, and I mumbled something non-committal and turned toward my car, picking up my pace. Then he started running. Heart hammering, I sprinted the last few steps, yanked open my car door, and threw myself inside, slamming down the lock just as he reached me. He grabbed the handle and rattled it violently. Come on, he pleaded, voice shifting into something almost desperate. You'd be perfect. I refused to look at him as I fumbled to start the car. Finally, the engine roared to life, and I tore out of the lot, watching him shrink in my rear view mirror. When I got home, still shaking, I called the police. They took a report, but I figured that was the end of it. Years passed. Then one day, out of the blue, I got a call from local law enforcement. They had an update. The man who had chased me, Christopher Wilder, a serial killer. He had murdered several women, including one who had worked for my parents. I had come within seconds of being another name on that list. That's how powerful these stories are. So it's just, and then I have takeaways too, which is really cool. So I have, there's scripts in here that will teach you how to lie to survive. There's real world stories that you guys wrote in. I share a lot of personal stories, even from when I was in college, that I'd never talked about before. And then I have a takeaway at the end of every single one of the real world stories. So this is appearances can be deceiving. Even someone that looks normal and seems friendly, you truly never know. If alarm bells go off, lean into it and remember trusting your gut can save your life. So that again goes back to the beginning where I laid the foundation about your intuition and the power behind your gut feeling. And it is, it's very eye opening. I'll tell you, when you read this book, you will see the world completely differently and not from a lens of fear, from a lens of empowerment. And I mean that with my whole heart. It's very this book was not written to scare you. This was written to empower you and to allow you to live your life with the knowledge and the tools to protect yourself if, God forbid, you found yourself in a dangerous situation. That's how I've always lived my life. I mean, I have traveled the world. I lived alone in multiple cities. And I always knew that if I found myself in a dangerous situation, and let me tell you, I have handful of times in my life, and I talk about it in my book, I was able to act or react accordingly and either lie my way out of the situation or get myself out of the situation and get home safely. And I would be like shaking afterward. I'd call my parents and be like, you're not going to believe what happened. And it's awareness and empowering your intuition that really make all the difference in the world. And that, again, that is quite literally, I keep picking this up because I can't stop touching it, but that's why I wrote this book, honestly. Okay. Let's get to some more questions. I'm going to read this again too, by the way, because my team wanted me to, just because sometimes directions can be a little confusing. So if you are watching on TalkShopLive, if you are watching on TalkShopLive, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop for links to order. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, there are so many questions. I'm going to scroll back. This is a cool question. Kelly wrote, what would your younger self think about this book? Oh my goodness. My younger self would not believe it. Honestly, I think my younger self would be so incredibly proud because she always wanted to be an author. She didn't know what she wanted to write, but she always walked around telling her parents that she wanted to write a book. So to be sitting here now that I have a book coming out to the world, I mean, she would be very proud. My younger self would be very proud. And it's actually really cool to think about. So thank you for that really meaningful question. That means a lot. Okay. Let's see. So many good questions. I honestly, you guys, I cannot believe this book is going to be on shelves in less than 3 weeks. Did writing this book. So this was another one of those questions. Were there any stories or insights you struggled with including or leaving out? That's a good question. Honestly, no, not really, because this all came together. This this book is so jam-packed with information in a way that is so intentional to be digestible, where you can read it at your own pace and not feel overwhelmed and it's a very easy read, which is something again I was very intentional about. Everything that I did was strategic when I was writing this book because of the information and how powerful it can be. And again, just keeping in mind that I want you to feel empowered from it and not scared because of it. So, like I said, I was very, very strategic to make sure that when you put this book down, you come away being like, I got this. Like, I really do got this. Let's see. I don't know how much more I want to read. By the way, there are really cool illustrations in this as well. I had a wonderful illustrator, Alexis Seabrook, who was a sweetheart to work with. I wanted, because there are some things that you talk about that you have to see. The triangle method is one of them, where I talk about how to use a shopping cart to basically make a triangle around you. If I come across it, I should have marked that page. But I mean, how to survive a rip current. Like if you guys can see this, I'll show it here and here. I know there's two different screens going, but it's things that you might not have ever thought about. And I was in two rip currents in my life, which is why it's in this book, because I know how scary they are firsthand. And if it wasn't for my own experience, and after the first experience, I was a kid and my mom got us through that. If it wasn't for that experience and my dad sitting me down and explaining to me what a rip current was, how powerful it can be, and the reason that so many people drown is exhaustion because you fight the current. Um, I don't know what would have happened if I found myself in that rip current at the age of like 13 or 14 and didn't have that knowledge. It's a scary thought, but because I knew what to do, I was able to save myself and my teammates who were also in it with me. And you're swimming and you're feeling this. And I mean, you're swimming hard and you're going further and further out to sea. It's a really, really scary thing. But if you know how to handle it, it's an easy thing to survive. You just relax. You just relax. The ocean can be crazy. But again, like I said, I just tried to think of everything and include so many things that you would have never thought about. Or if you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, wow, like I had this own, I had this experience in my life and this would have helped me so much. That's a reaction that I got a lot of too, which was really, really cool for people that read advanced reader copies. Okay, let me see what questions are coming in. Also, we're at 27 minutes. Okay, we'll hang out with you guys for a little while longer. This is actually really fun. So all of the questions are being funneled in. Let me go all here. Hold on. I have this funneled. Let's go comments too. This is really cool. I need to do lives more. Do you guys think I should do like lives more, maybe on like specific topics, or we could have, a hangout together? And I need to connect with you guys more. I said that 2026 is going to be a year that I absolutely connect and share a little bit. I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. Obviously, I have to stay very on brand, and I always want to stay on brand and true to myself. But it's kind of fun to show the silly side, because I think there's a bit of a misconception online where, you see that I share this material, and a lot of people, not a lot, I'll say actually a very few messages that I've gotten over the years of people being like, wow, you must live in fear. Wow, you must not leave your house. And it could not be further from the truth. I am a complete goofball. I love to live life. I love to have fun, and I really love to be present in the moments. And like I said, just having that knowledge in the back of my head empowers me to be able to live my life. There's so many really cool comments, you guys. Thank you so much. Someone said, will you be writing more books? I'm not going to say no. Not going to say yes. I guess you'll have to wait and see. Um, okay. There's a lot of these. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm trying to get to as many questions as I can. Do you know self-defense? Yes, I do, actually. And I really enjoy it. And that's something that I also talk about that you should take advantage of. I will say though, when it comes to self-defense, it's a last resort. That's something that I also want to be very transparent with. It's good to know it's not going to hurt you. It's another way to empower you, but you do not want to get into a hand-to-hand combat situation that is a last resort. You don't want to let anybody close to you. I always say that distance is your friend and awareness is your weapon. You want to be able to see a threat long before it gets near you so that you can react and get out of the situation. So, although yes, self-defense is wonderful, it's empowering, it's a great workout, and it's something that I do, highly recommend all women, take self-defense classes. Just know that it is a last resort. And I want everybody to know that. It's important. So many congratulations, you guys. Thank you so, so much. What kind of feedback from readers has meant the most to you so far? The stories and the emails, and this started actually, long before this book was even in the works, but oh my goodness, I could like cry thinking about it. The stories and the emails that I've been sent, the messages that I've been sent of women that will share a situation that happened to them where they truly believe that information that they learned from my content, or even recently advanced reader copies has saved their life at the end of the day, and they truly believe that. And it's kind of like it's a weird feeling because, like I said, I mean, this information is so much bigger than me. This book is so much bigger than me. Yes, I wrote it, and yes, my name's on it, but it's about saving lives. And again, it's something that I wish was like mandatory for all women to read. I really do. I would love to be able to get this in the hands of every single young woman so that she reads this and can grow up living aware, not in fear, and empowered. There were so many things that my parents taught me at a very, very young age and really nurtured my sense of street smarts, which is quite a beautiful thing. And I do have a lot of people write in asking, like, well, what's the best way to have these conversations with your kids so that you don't scare them and you empower them. And I actually share a lot about that in my book. And I think that when you read this book as a parent too, it's going to spark conversation between you and your kids and your family where you'll feel comfortable talking about these topics. And it's a way that's very approachable to really any age. And it can make a big difference. It can make a big difference in life. And obviously, you want your kids to go out in the world with a street smart head on their shoulders. Um, and like I said, I really, you can tell I'm passionate about this. I really hope everybody reads this book. Okay. I'm going to answer a couple more questions so I don't take up too much of your guys' time. And thank you guys for being here. Truly, it means so much to me. Oh my gosh, there are 993 people I'm talking to right now. Something that's funny, you guys, and this is crazy. I am such an introvert, and I don't know how I come across online if that comes through, but like I started this by just talking to my phone, and I forget every single day. I forget that I am sharing these safety tips and I have a book coming out into the world, and I am talking to, at times, millions of people have seen my content, where I'll be out, at the grocery store and somebody will be like, Dannah, and I'll like turn and be like, oh my God. And it's such a special thing and it's such a cool thing. But I am so not the type of person that likes to be the center of attention. I'm actually kind of sweating right now, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Anytime I do, like right now, I'm doing a bunch of podcasts and interviews, and every single time my family makes so much fun of me because I will be soaking wet at the end of it. And my husband calls me the sitting duck, like on the water, which is really funny. He's like, on the top of the water, you look very calm and composed, but then underwater, the feet are going crazy because I'm having a panic attack because this is so far outside my comfort zone. But I think what makes it easy to talk about is, number one, it's my bread and butter. It's something I'm so passionate about. But number two, it's like I've said from the start, it's so much bigger than me, and the information is so important. And although I'm uncomfortable putting myself in these situations where I am speaking in front of a lot of people, I want this information out in the world. And just based on the proof of concept and the messages that I've received, it's all worth it at the end of the day. So if I sweat through my shirts and I get really nervous beforehand, it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of what I'm doing. So just a little fun fact about me, I am very much an introvert. And this is also way past my bedtime. I'm typically laying in bed on a heating pad doing something, probably editing, but going to bed soon. So thank you guys for staying up with me also, by the way. Okay. Trying to go through. Okay, someone said, is that Barnes and Noble? Yes, it is. You can get this book anywhere that you get books, but TalkShopLive is the only place that you can get your hands on an autographed copy. So please take advantage because there's only a select number, and once those sell out, those sell out. And I don't know, as of right now, there's no other way to get an autographed copy. And like I had said earlier, I know that people had written in messages and some emails asking how they can get an autographed copy. So right now, please purchase, please take advantage while you have the opportunity, because if you want it, I want you to have it. even though I don't know why you want my autograph, but thank you so much. Okay. Um, there's so many good questions in this. I honestly want to like save these and do another live. Let's see. How do you think the idea of street smarts is evolving in today's world? That's a great question. And honestly, my biggest thing with like where we are in 2026, social media and the online world. That's, it's much easier to get to people, online scams, which I talk about in my book. I have a whole chapter dedicated to online scams, but it's it's a scary world out there, and when, where there's a will, there's a way, and now it's not just meeting somebody out and about or like, trying to get to kids at a playground. It's through social media, and that could really be at any age. Kids are targets all the time, and the stories and the things that I've seen are truly, truly devastating at times and heartbreaking. And again, why these conversations are so important, and why having, an open and honest relationship where your kids feel that they can come to you for anything and everything at the end of the day and know that you're their safe space, free of judgment, which is what I had growing up with my parents. That can make all the difference at the end of the day. So, just know that there's a lot of risk. Someone said something to me that was very, very powerful. And I don't know if they read it somewhere, but they said when you hand a child a device, you end their childhood. And that to me, like, kind of shocked me, but it makes sense because then the scrolling starts and the social media starts. And just have these conversations, you guys. Have these conversations with your kids. Very, very important. What is your best safety tip or advice? Awareness, 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 situational awareness. I will literally die on that hill. It is your best first line of defense, um, hands down. Being aware of who and what's around you. There are so many cool. Wow. Somebody said, Morgan said, Dannah, thank you. You're saving lives every time you post. This book will change the dynamic to saving so many women and men. Amazing. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. There are some really cool. Hi from Canada, Ryan from Canada. A lot of congratulations. Shouldn't you be looking to the camera? Sorry, yes. I told you this isn't my comfort zone, you guys. Is your audiobook coming out at the same time? Yes, it is. It is. And that was really fun to record. Um, let's see. Someone said I'm hooked. Thank you so, so much. Someone said, "Can you share an example where using street smarts changed the outcome of the real situation?" Yeah, and I will speak from experience. I think I might tell the story in my book. I was in a parking garage in college, and it was after a night class, and I wasn't thrilled about it, and I didn't feel good about it going into it, and I took all the precautions necessary. I literally had pepper gel, like, ready in hand, didn't have my phone in my hand. I was, looking around, totally aware of my surroundings, and there was a man that was lurking in the parking garage that kinda started coming closer to me, and my internal instinct, my gut was like, "Oh my goodness," like, felt danger, and I just thought on my feet, kept him at a distance. And immediately before he even like got near me, I looked up at an empty row of cars and yelled out like some guys' names that were friends of mine and said something about the class or something about like, are we doing something, whatever. I just basically like pretended to address two guys very obviously. And the guy turned around and ran. And that was just thinking on my feet and handling a situation in a street smart way. And again, I don't know what would have happened. Maybe something, maybe nothing. But at the end of the day, I got home safe, and that's all that matters. So this also, something that I get a lot of messages that people say like, they freeze in situations, or like they don't know how to handle situations and they're worried how they'll react in a situation. And something that I talk about in this book, and something that my parents played with me growing up, was the what if game. And it's just basically putting yourself in a situation mentally, and not too drastically. Like, I'm not saying go into it deep and make it really dark and scary, but if you see something on the news, if you hear a story, just think, what would I do in that situation? And then once you kind of think through certain things, if you find yourself in that situation, God forbid, if you read this book and you have the knowledge embedded in the back of your brain, you're going to be able to react. You're going to have that knowledge to empower you to be like, wait, I know what to do. The amount of messages that I've gotten that people say, like, I heard your voice in the back of my head, which is also crazy, but really cool and special. Again, that's why I wrote this book. That is literally why I wrote this book. And that's why I'm so passionate. And I'm pushing it so hard. You guys are probably going to get so sick of seeing me talk about it up until launch. But like I said, this isn't like a fashion book. Like I did not to like, downplay any other type of book, but I am so passionate about this, not to sell books, but to get life-saving information in your hands because I know how powerful it is. And because I know that it will save lives because the content inside already has based off of the messages and, emails that I've gotten. And at the end of the day, I just want you guys to be safe and feel empowered to live your life. Um, okay, let's do a couple more questions. 40 minutes. Oh my God, are you guys so sick of me? There's over 1,000 people. You guys, I don't even know what to say right now. So you guys are streaming in from all. Somebody asked why criminology and psychology. It's a great question. I played soccer in college, and I mean, I always wanted to be a professional soccer player. I'll tell that story another time because my college career did not go my way, to say the least. I won't say anymore right now, but I didn't know what I wanted to study, and I took a psychology class in high school that really intrigued me, and I really loved understanding just the depths of psychology. I found it fascinating. And I always loved, certain crime shows and stuff like that. And then when I graduated, I sat down. I remember going on the website and kind of just scrolling through. I was sitting at the kitchen counter with my dad and I saw criminology. And I was like, oh my gosh, paired with psychology, like 1-2 punch, absolutely. I'm going to Quantico. Like, here we go. This is giddy up. Let's do this, And I will say, fun fact, I hated school growing up. Oh my gosh, absolutely hated every second of it. And when I got to college, I mean, I had some classes that were necessary that weren't, crim and psych, but all of my crim classes, all of my psych classes, I couldn't get enough of it. I could not get enough of the information. And I was a total closet nerd. Like all my teammates, they'd be complaining like, oh, school sucks. And I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Like I absolutely love it. And a fun fact too that, some of you might know, some of you might not, but I graduated with over a 4.0 GPA because it wasn't even school. It was fascinating and it was so easy to retain the information because I couldn't get enough of it. And it really became my bread and butter. And then when I get into it in the book, and again, Chuck, my mentor that passed away, who the book is dedicated about, I told you guys a little bit about in the beginning of this, and I have talked about it before, but um, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't, how do I even say this? I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away too much of this book. I'm talking in circles and I just don't want to give away too much. Oh my gosh. What do I want to say? When I took a hiatus from going into, the FBI wanted to go right to Quantico and I stepped away and didn't ultimately go that path. I had a hole in my heart for years. And it just is funny how life works out in certain ways. And now here I am doing this that is so fulfilling and reaching so many more people than I ever would have been able to help if I was a federal agent, if I went into the FBI, would have been a hell of a career. And, I heard stories. I came across a lot of federal agents in their field, thanks to Chuck, who introduced us to, oh my gosh, he brought in, you name it. And we heard incredible stories and Chuck's decorated career, my God, which I also talk about in the book. So when you read about Chuck, know that he is near and dear to my heart. Okay, sorry, I need to answer some of your questions. There's a lot of Somebody said no sound. Hopefully that was your phone and not this. I've been talking to myself this whole time, imagine. Um, okay, Mark ordered, Darlene, Margaret, Barbara. Wait, there's so many people ordering right now? I didn't know I could see this. You guys. Thank you so much. I had it filtered to only questions and now I opened it up to comments. Wow. This could not be more like special for me. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions and then we're almost at 45 minutes. I should go to bed and you guys should go to bed too. Oh my God, somebody ordered 4 books. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys wrote in so many things that are so kind. Hi from Australia. Hello. I've been over there. Oh my goodness. You guys have a beautiful country to say the least. Did some wine tours out there. We were in Sydney and Melbourne and I just fell in love with it. I would love to come back. Um, a lot of, oh my gosh, you guys are the sweetest. Wow, this is so amazing. I really, everyone who wrote in just these beautiful messages, this means the world to me. Did you ever consider writing a version as a children's book? Lots coming. A lot's coming in the future, you guys. Hello from Canada again. So you guys are coming in here from all over the world. Wow. Again, I sit here in my office where, I started doing this. I think I was like my first video was like in a bathroom in my condo in Chicago and I like stuck it on the mirror and shared a safety tip. And I want to say it was like a family code word was one of my first videos. And I grew up with a family code word and it like I think it got like 40,000 views. And I remember being like, okay, like wow, like I just, again, I just wanted to share safety tips. This is pretty cool. Like this is resonating. And then when I continued to share and you guys came barreling in and it really snowballed. I could not be more grateful and I really couldn't do this without you guys. So just know how grateful I am for each and every one of you for being here and supporting me and helping me help so many others and get this content and this, these lessons and the knowledge and the tools out to your loved ones who then share it with their loved ones. It's like a ripple effect that is very meaningful and special to me and I don't, that does not get lost on me. Hello from New York. Um, let's see. People are coming in from all over. This is so cool. Washington State, Ohio, New York again. Sorry, I wish you guys could see these with me. I wish also we could like actually talk back and forth from California. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Someone said, "What are you selling?" I am just talking about my book, and if you are interested, it would mean the world to me if you bought it because this does have the potential to save lives. That sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. It really does, but it's true. There's nothing else to say. It's exactly what it is. Okay, will you do a book tour? That's a great question. And I don't know if I made the right decision. I'm going to be completely honest, and that's why I'm going to do like some virtual events and stuff like that. But my book team had a conversation, and honestly, it wasn't really on brand to put the location and the time and the date of where I was going to be ahead of time. It kind of was like contradictory to everything that I preach and practice. So we were kind of like, okay, we got to get creative with this. I would love to. I honestly would love to, meet you guys in person and whenever I do, it's the craziest thing in the world. People will sometimes stop and ask to take pictures or just meet me. Someone asked me to sign something a couple times for them, and I just it again. I forget that I talk to so many people, and it's just you know I don't look at myself like that. I don't look at myself as any type of a public figure, and it's very very cool to be able to reach so many people and then to have real conversations with you out in the world. Um, Very meaningful for me and very cool. Let's see. You guys are coming in from all over. My goodness. We have over 1,300 people. Holy cow. From all sources. That is very, very cool. Lexington, Virginia, Chicago. Go Bears, you guys. I am from Chicago. And I lived in the city for over 5 years and I miss it, but only in the summer. I don't miss winters. I will say that. Calgary. Oh my gosh. Very cool. I've been to Calgary. Let's see. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions and then somebody bought 5 copies. You guys, this is so cool. Okay. Someone said the Bears. Um, okay, are you able to personalize the signing for gifts or is it simply your autograph? It's my autograph, you guys. I really wish I could. And, right now, this is the only place where you can buy signed copies. So if you do want an autograph copy, I highly recommend grabbing it while you can. Because once they sell out, there's no plan to have signed copies anywhere else as of now. Everyone's writing the Bears. Was the game not insane the other night? You guys, wait, I have to share this just because it was so special. My papa turned 90 the day that the Bears played, and my whole family, we were just like the whole day, all of us were so nervous because all we wanted was a Bears win on his 90th birthday. And then when it looked like the game was starting, it just didn't. We were like, oh boy, this isn't going well. Like, this really isn't going well. But that's kind of been the trend of the Bears. Like, you guys are giving us a bit of a heart attack. So if we cannot do that the next game, that would be great. We were all on the edge of our seats holding our breath. And when the Bears won, I started hysterically crying. And my husband was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, you don't understand. Like, it wasn't just about the game or that they won. It was because of my papa, because they won on his 90th birthday. And it was very special for my family. Do you think Oh, I thought someone said, "Do you think I'll be able to become an actor?" I thought you said about me. No. You sure, go for it, absolutely. Me? No. Wait, somebody just bought more autograph copy. You guys, I can't believe you this is just so amazing. Um, Someone said, "What are your thoughts on a personal alarm?" Amazing, I always say. I also have you know what? I'll just share this too. At the very back of the book, I have a list of safety tools. Actually, you know what? I'm going to end it with this because this is the perfect place to end it. And it's the end of the book. But so a list of safety tools where I go into detail about specific tools, exactly what they are. Um, a door security bar, car escape tool, door stop alarm, hair tie drink cover, pepper gel, pepper spray, break down what the difference is, stuff like that. Personal keychain alarm is something that I highly recommend. Travel carbon monoxide detector. If you guys do not have one of those, oh my gosh, please, for the love of God, get one, travel with one. Do not go anywhere with one. They're very inexpensive and they're battery powered and they can quite literally save your life and your family's life. And there's more in there that you guys can read when you get your books. But it's just a pretty cool thing at the very end. And yeah, layers of protection. Honestly, awareness always going to be your best first line of defense. But having layers of protection, there's a wide range out there. So I always say use what you feel comfortable with, use what you feel confident with, and trained with. Most importantly, at the end of the day. And I will leave you with that. I'll say this one more time too, just in case. Where is this? Anyone has any last minute questions as to how to order? So if you're watching on TikTok, excuse me, this is late. Can you tell it's past my bedtime? If you're watching on TalkShopLive, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop for links to order. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. Hope that helps. Please, like I said, one last time right now, this is the only place that you guys can grab autographed copies. So if you want one, please take advantage because once they sell out, there's no plan to do it again as of now. So if you want it, grab it. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. You guys are truly amazing. And as I've said, many times now, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without all of your love, all of the kind words, all the support, and for helping me help so many other people by sharing my content. And then I hope more than anything now that you guys get your hands on this book and share it with all of the women in your life, all of the people that you love, because of how powerful the information inside is and the fact alone that this can very well save your life. Crazy as it is to say out loud, it's the truth. Okay. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And we'll do this again sometime. This was really fun. Truly. Thank you guys for being here. And I will see you soon. I can't wait for you to get your copy of Street Smarts. It is out in the world February 3rd, but please pre-order because I want you to get your hands on it before it even launches so that you have the opportunity to get your hands on it. And like I said, last but not least, only place to grab autographed copies is here on TalkShopLive. So thank you so much for being here. And also thank you for all the comments coming in about my grandpa. That's just so sweet. So I love you and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, end show. I know we're still live here.